Hey guys, it's Adam, and today I want to talk about how to start or restart an interior design business that actually makes money. Not one that looks busy, not one that sounds impressive, but one where the income genuinely reflects the effort. Because I see a lot of designers who are really talented, they're creative, and they're already putting themselves out there, yet something really feels off. They're exhausted, they're over involved, they're doing everything, and the numbers still don't stack up. So if that sounds familiar, this video is for you. And before you assume maybe that this is about motivation or mindset, it's not that. It really comes down to structure, how the work is priced, how the responsibility is defined, and what designers quietly absorb without being paid for. After 16 years in the industry, I can tell you this with absolute confidence. Most designers don't actually need more clients, they actually need fewer leaks. So before we get into it all, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell. I post weekly videos here about interior design business and real world advice, not theory, not fluff. So let's get into it today. So mistake number one is building everything into one fee. So this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see designers making, and that's charging a single design fee and expecting it to somehow cover everything. So that covers design, ordering, managing deliveries, handling delays, fixing damaged items, helping with installs, putting out fires. Let me give you a real world example here. So I recently completed a long interview with a designer, and just to protect her identity, we'll call her Denise. So Denise is experienced. She's talented. She's well respected in her area, and she's charging $5,000 for a room design. So that sounds pretty reasonable until you actually look at what the fee actually includes. That $5,000 covered the design concept, the sourcing of all the furnishings, pricing the room, placing the orders, managing deliveries, and dealing with product issues and helping set everything up for the client. So the furniture spend for the room, it was around $20,000, and the payment structure was 50% to start, 25% before ordering anything, and 25% before delivery of the pieces. And on top of all of that, Denise felt it was the right thing to do to pass on trade discounts to the client, because she really believed that that's what clients are expecting. Isn't that what everybody does, is they share some of the discounts? It helps the client pay for the service. But here's the problem with that. That $5,000 fee is trying to do the job of two separate services. So designing the concept's one job, and implementing it, ordering, managing, installing, troubleshooting, all those things, is an entirely different job. And pretending one fee can fairly cover both is how designers quietly destroy their margins. So let's try and reframe this now. Charging $5,000 to design the concept to cost it properly is fine, but implementation should be charged separately and as a percentage of the goods and services. So I personally recommend charging around 30% to order, manage, install, and resolve issues. So on $20,000 worth of furniture, that's $6,000 for implementation. It's not $600, it's $6,000. So these are two distinct services. When designers bundle them all together, they're not being generous, they're being underpaid. So here's why I'm spending a bit of time on this point. This mistake doesn't usually show up on your very first job. It shows up on the second or the third, when projects start overlapping and when orders are still outstanding, and when you realize just how much responsibility you've taken on without ever really pricing for it properly. So what I see designers do at this point is tell themselves, I'm going to fix this on the next job, but then the next job comes in and the same structure repeats. That's one fee again, more responsibility, longer timelines, more emotional labor, and there's certainly emotions tied into this role. And suddenly a few months are in and you're juggling those multiple projects. You're managing multiple installs and you're solving lots of problems. And then you're wondering why you're always so exhausted. And really, this is how burnout starts early in the industry. Not because you're bad at design and not because you chose the wrong career, but because the structure was wrong from the beginning. And once these habits are set, they're a little bit harder to unwind later on. So let me ask you something honestly. Does any of this resonate with you? Have you ever charged a single fee and then ended up managing an entire process? That's ordering, chasing, installing, problem solving, and quietly thinking, I'm being ripped off here. If that's you, you're not alone. So leave a comment below and tell me what happened. I read every comment here and it helps other designers realize they're not the only ones dealing with this. And if you'd like to talk through this in a little bit more detail, maybe work through this in a little bit more clarity, with some clarity, email me and ask me. Let's have a chat. You can email me directly at askadam@turnkeydesign.success.com. So mistake number 2, and this is really about discounts that erode value. This next one really is blunt. There's no discount fairy hovering around over our heads. For years, I passed on trade discounts to clients because I thought they built goodwill. I thought it would create loyalty, and I thought it made me just a nice guy. That's exactly what I did to train my clients to constantly expect more and more and more for less. The turning point for me came when a client who was already been giving discounts and had a detailed document showing the discounted pricing. She casually asked me one day, do you think you could give me a little discount? She laughed. Then I realized this discount wasn't appreciated. It was assumed. It wasn't actually even acknowledged, even though there was paperwork to show that there was a discount. So when that happens, when it's kind of all up front, it really is an assumption. And clients don't experience discounts as generosity. They experience them as normal. And once discounting becomes normal, your value collapses. So today, I just charge retail pricing. No more, no less, because the value isn't in shaving dollars off products. My value is in clarity. My value is in coordination, leadership, and delivery. And so is yours. Discounting attracts price-sensitive clients. Confident designers don't rely on giving discounts to justify their service or their existence. So stop doing it. So there's also something important to understand about pricing. When designers undercharge or they discount, they usually tell themselves it's temporary. So I'll charge properly once I'm more confident, or I'm going to be able to charge properly or more once I've got more experience. At this point, how could I possibly do that? I've only been a couple of years in the game. So I'll charge properly on the next project. But confidence doesn't actually come first, and experience doesn't necessarily need to come first. We're always learning new things on every job, even after years. Structure should come first. Confidence is a result of knowing what you're responsible for and what you're not responsible for, and what gets charged at each stage. So without that clarity, every quote feels uncomfortable, every invoice feels apologetic, and every client request feels like a negotiation. So this is why pricing issues don't fix themselves over time. They compound. And the longer you wait to clean this up, the harder it feels to change later. So let's get on to mistake number 3, uncontrolled scope and revisions, otherwise known as scope creep. So let's talk about one of the quietest profit killers in this industry, scope creep. I'll give you another real-world example. A designer, this time we'll call her Tanya. Tanya designs bathrooms. She charges $5,000 for a bathroom design, but a contract doesn't limit revisions. So what happens next? The client keeps visiting showrooms, scrolling through Instagram, finding new shiny things for that bathroom. And every new idea gets funneled back to Tanya. Can we just tweak this? Or what about this instead? I saw this tap yesterday. Do we think we could change that out? I'm not sure if it's the right size, but it looks great. So meanwhile, construction's already started as well. So Tanya's redesigning during the build, answering emails at night, reworking details constantly, and she's not charging a cent more. So this isn't about a difficult client. It's actually about a missing boundary. And unlimited revisions don't make you generous, they make you free labor. So I want to be really clear about something here. Most clients aren't trying to be difficult, they're just responding to the environment that we create for them. So if there are no limits, they'll keep exploring. And if decisions aren't locked in and restrictions on the amount of revisions we give to our client, they will keep changing their mind. If revisions are free, meaning they just keep going on, they'll assume revisions are part of the service. Clients don't need endless options. They need leadership, and leadership looks like clear boundaries, timelines, restrictions on revisions, and consequences for those, not endless flexibility. So let's do a pricing reality check here. Here's a question every designer needs to ask themselves really honestly. After time, after admin, after problem solving, after emotional labor, are you actually making a healthy profit? As a general guide, you should be aiming for 30 to 40% profit margin. And if you don't know your margin, that is your answer. Sit down with the accountant, review projects one by one, and see where the money actually goes. So guessing is not a pricing strategy. So you really don't need to work harder to make more money in design. You just need better structure, stronger boundaries, and the confidence to charge properly. So if you found this video helpful, click the like button, subscribe for more videos like this, and leave a comment here. I want to hear your experience. And thank you for watching today. And the one thing I want you to remember is you are not behind, you are building. And on that note, I'll see you in the next video.